Hey there, everyone. Hey, thanks for tuning in. It's so good to see you 2 nights in a row. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Those of you that are guests here, if your invitee who invited you here is here, go ahead and drop some information about you in the chat if you're able to, maybe where you're located, so we could have some reference. But I will introduce myself as well. I am Dr. Kayla Abide. I am located in the upstate of South Carolina, which it's rainy South Carolina tonight, rainy and kind of chilly. But every Wednesday, I jump on and share knowledge, wisdom, education to help expand and optimize your human potential. And so I'm super grateful that you've all attended here tonight. I want to make sure though that even though I'm a chiropractor, even though I'm a provider, I'm not your provider, so I'm simply here educating you, dropping into your awareness some lovely nuggets that you can take to utilize and optimize in your health, vitality, optimizations, and however you are making conscious health choices. So let's start off by the whole reason why we're here, which is LifeWave. LifeWave has a really big mission that I'm also super passionate about, and I think most of us can align with. We all want to look and feel younger. And so, with that mission of wanting us to look and feel younger, we could dive deeper into their mission statement of not just looking and feeling younger, but helping you live long, live well, live younger through specific patented wearable wellness products that we're going to go over today so that we could strive to reach 1 billion homes and beyond. So, all of you listening, I know are so consciously aware of where we are going in this health paradigm. And so it is so important when I share every single week to continue my passion, which is shifting that health paradigm and shifting that health paradigm from one of lack to one of abundance and one of optimization, with my favorite, which we're going to start with, is the self-healing power that resides within us. And so I want to start with the end in mind and start here at the very end that we'll utilize and tie this together, that will also kind of open up like a flower and dive into, and that is the patent. So LifeWave itself holds over 140 patents. We're going to talk about one really powerful patent today, and that is the X39 patch. If you've heard of LifeWave before over the past 20 years, you've probably heard of X39. It is something that's very popular, very potent, very powerful. And this is the patch with the patent that we're going to start off with. So I like to read the points that are highlighted in yellow because this is what the patent tells us X39 is optimized for, utilized for, and able to tap into your health and vitality with. So first and foremost, you could read this online. Go to startx39now.com. You could look this up on the patent website and you could read all of the details. But the first sentence I want to highlight is it produces beneficial effects to the human body, such as activation of stem cells. We hear this all the time, stem cells, stem cells, stem cells. We're going to talk about what it means, but it's activation of stem cells within the human body. Next, it increases copper peptide. GHK copper peptide is what that peptide is called specifically. And so let me mute my vibrating desk here. My phone is going crazy. So increasing the copper peptide, which is GHK, in the individual's body. So we are going to talk about GHK. I promise I'm going to break it down to you. But my favorite part of all of this, in which we talked about in the beginning, which is self-healing and optimization of human potential, is the non-transdermal apparatus. And that is non-transdermal, meaning we're not putting anything into our bodies. We are simply optimizing what's already there and already exists. We're doing that by reflecting and emitting specific wavelengths of light from what our body's already putting off. So we put off light, we put off heat. So when we capture that and we're putting it back into our body, we're utilizing it like a power source. And we could utilize that to create tools and a means of abundance for healing that our body wants to utilize and optimize. So this mean of wavelengths of light of this X39 actually allows you to elevate these copper peptides, which in turn we know impact our stem cells and the enhancement and utilization of them. So I promise I won't bore you with the science. I'll make it really fun. But first, let's start going back to the very beginning when LifeWave began, and that was 20 years ago. So 20 years ago, we're talking way before 2001. We all know what paradigm shifted in the world of 2001. And so David Schmidt is the inventor, the visionary, the creator, and the CEO of LifeWave. And he is an incredible mastermind and craft in terms of technology, in terms of just really big visions of conscious health and vitality. So he started working with the Navy SEALs. The Navy SEALs brought on David Schmidt for his incredible wisdom and knowledge to create a patch or something, let's just say something, a device for the Navy SEALs to help them have stabilized, optimized, vital energy for their intensive job. So they don't sleep a lot, they need to have continual source of energy. So what did he do? He created something called the Energy Enhancer Patch, which we're going to talk about. It still exists today. But he created this Energy Enhancer Patch, which basically allowed the Navy SEALs to optimize their energy, to maintain focus, to ignite their mitochondria, to help them function in their tasks, in their day-to-day processes. So it was really great. It was successful. Then 2001 came and hit, and the trajectory of the US government and their intentions going forward were no longer centered on the health and vitality of creating these optimized potentials of technology that were stimulant free, that were drug free. They had, of course, another idea in mind to protect the country. And so went their separate ways with David Schmidt, and David Schmidt, being the intelligent man he is, then patented this technology and started creating what we know as the 10 patches in the LifeWave suite and over 140 patents that he holds with incredible technology that's going to be released little by little, drop by drop here, actually starting in 2025. So currently it's a suite of phototherapy patches. It is a US-based company. There's offices, labs, and manufacturers in California, Utah, but also, of course, in Ireland. We have global distribution centers, 15 of them, all around the world to over 80 countries. And we are now, of course, doing everything in-house. The only thing that is outsourced is the adhesive that we utilize, the medical grade adhesive on the patches, which is outsourced to 3M in America. So it's a really powerful company, a really powerful brand, and a very conscious brand. And David Schmidt himself is a huge humanitarian who wants to shift the energy sources, shift the potential of healing, and shift that overall paradigm of where we're going in terms of conscious living and biological living. And he, although creating all of these incredible things, still says himself, X39, as you'll see, he believes is his greatest achievement yet. And I want to kind of take a sidestep. I forgot to mention this in the beginning. If you have any questions over anything at any point in time, drop them in the chat. I will be checking the chat. If they're relevant to what I'm talking about, I will mention it then. If not, we will have a full Q&A session at the end of this to make sure your questions, personal questions, thoughts, comments are addressed and taken care of. All right, so let's keep rolling. Move this out of the way. This stuck to the top of my screen. Come down. I don't want you there. Okay, I guess we'll move this then. All right, perfect. So we're talking about phototherapy patches, we're talking about X39. I want to go into the science behind it, what we're working with and what we're understanding. These are two places of science and of thought that we're very familiar with. Even I would say most lay individuals are very, very commonly have heard of phototherapy or acupuncture or acupressure. So starting with the science behind the patches, it's a kind of marriage of two very well-studied sciences. First, phototherapy. So phototherapy being the study of light, the study of the sun, and we look into these ancient cultures. We look into Greek culture, we look into the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians. They all honored the sun god, that everything in their culture was surrounded by light. They looked at different wavelengths of light. They utilized different colors of light for different healing and different modalities. It was a really big study that we learn a lot even today from looking back in these different cultures from centuries ago who optimized light. So phototherapy, I'm sure you've heard of. Maybe you haven't heard of the Greeks or the Egyptians, but I'm sure you've heard of vitamin D. We all know that 15 minutes a day is the minimum for you to go outside in the sun to synthesize vitamin D through your skin so your body can utilize the sun as an energy source to produce something that it needs. This is no different than what we're doing here with LifeWave technology. We're utilizing and optimizing something of energy source of our body to create something else that our body needs or wants more of to impact our healing and potential. Next, we have acupressure. I'm sure you've heard of acupuncture. Acupuncture is with needles. Acupressure is with the meridians or these highways that I like to call them. Our body's organized into this roadway system, just like the map of the United States. And so we have organs, tissues, organ systems, and all these channels that run throughout our body. Ancient Chinese medicine divides these up into things called meridians. I like to call them highways. I love analogies. You'll learn that here pretty soon if you haven't already. And so we utilize these channels of energy patterns or meridians to have different connections to various points and organs and to stimulate things for various self-healing modalities. So when you marry the idea of phototherapy along with acupuncture, acupressure, again, acupressure being those same meridians, but just touch points instead of putting needles into them, or pressure points, if you will, you combine those together and you get the power of LifeWave technology. So, how does that work? Well, let's boil it down to what actually goes on in our biological living beings. We emit heat and light. We emit wavelengths of light and of heat. Anything that is living, if you've seen thermography, you've seen all those scans, that is heat, that is light being emitted from your body. So, David found out and discovered that if you take that light and that heat, you could capture it and utilize it as a source of energy. So I like to give the solar panel analogy because we're all used to solar panels. We've heard of them. There's something that's been going on. We talk a lot about them. So if we take a heat and light of our body and we capture it in a solar panel and then we put it back into our body, we reflect it back in, we can utilize that to enhance our well-being. So we have the patch, which is essentially the solar panel. The patch is made up of a crystal lattice structure. So it's basically organic compounds, molecules, and a crystalline lattice structure. It's like a 3D printed image. And I'll show you a picture here soon, that depending on what activation you want to get from it, what you want to capture and utilize that light for in the body, is what the patented structure of it looks like. And so when you put on this patch, which is just a sticker, remember it's non-transdermal, we're not putting anything into our body, you stick the sticker on and it captures the heat and light and it reflects it and mirrors it back into your body, and it utilizes that heat and light or that energy source to stimulate various peptides or activate various healing modalities that your body wants more tools and more effective and efficient ways and means of healing for. So here's a picture of it. This is under a microscope 100 times, so it really zoomed in. This is X39, what we're talking about. So you can see it looks like a little like crystalline structure, kind of looks like a snowflake, if you will. So each patch is completely made of organic nanocrystals. So think of, crystals, particles like we're talking about in nature. And each patch has its own patented crystal formation, like I mentioned, and it's a combination of organic compounds. So you get amino acids, water, stabilized oxygen, sugars, and salts and form these different crystal structures that make up each patch. And again, just to point out, I love to say this 1,000 times, these are all naturally occurring things. This is not something that someone made to put on your body. These are things that are found in nature that biologically, just like we talked about in terms of the ancient Greeks and the Egyptians, they utilized and discovered these, that utilizing wavelengths, these are naturally occurring things. We're not putting anything into the body. We're simply utilizing what nature already has intended for us to utilize and optimizing on it. So the biggest questions I always get is, well, is there latex in it? Is it going to interact with any pharmaceutical drugs or over-the-counter drugs? Can I take this medication with it? Does it have any stimulants? Is it going to cause any issues? And the answer is no, because it's non-transdermal. They're not putting anything into your body. Therefore, there are not any known side effects because you're not putting anything in. There's no interactions that are known because you are not interacting with anything. You're simply, just like if you were going out in the sun, you are getting an opportunity to have an external power source to turn over the innate intelligence and power of what your body already has the potential to create. So I like to go over this, and if you want a copy of this, you could put it in the chat. I'll drop a copy in there, but if you want it, you can go to startx39now.com. You don't have to read all of this. I'm not going to bore you with all of the semantics of that, but I am going to educate you on the benefits of GHK copper peptide. So in the beginning, I say in the beginning, in 1973, Dr. Loren Pickart discovered GHK and called it the holy grail of healing. So GHK is that copper peptide that we talked about in the patent. And so here we have GHK copper peptide and the many benefits of it. So he found, Dr. Loren Pickart, that GHK copper peptide is the peptide when increased in the body that helps produce and enhance stem cells and promote them to a healthier state. So when we are enhancing stem cells or we're creating stem cells, we're able to take this blank cell, stem cell being like a blank piece of paper, and you can create anything out of it. You can turn it into anything. And so that's where when we are born, we are given all of our stem cells from our mother through our umbilical cord, and we have all these stem cells for our life, right? So we utilize them to help continuation of healing and progression, and we have them during intensive healing periods. But what if What if we can put this solar panel on, optimize the utilization and production of these stem cells to turn over the potential of our entire trajectory of repair, regeneration, and of course, age reversal. So let's dive into some of my favorite points of GHK copper peptide. And again, I invite you, don't just believe me, go to PubMed, go to all of the medical research that you could find, type in GHK copper peptide, you're going to get like 30 pages of research on the power of GHK copper peptide that are not just done by LifeWave, that are done by medical providers all over the world, research labs all over the world. This is where this is coming from. So skin and nails, or sorry, skin and hair, but also nails. Like, where does it stop? It's just like GHK just keeps going and going and going. So we know in terms of just looking at skin and hair, it tightens loose skin, it thickens older skin, it reduces fine lines and wrinkles. It also increases hair growth and thickness, and also accelerates wound healing. So think about anything with skin and turnover and repair of healthy cells. That's what we're talking about with GHK copper peptide. Next, we all know what happened just a few years ago. Lungs, hello, lungs, respiratory. We want our lungs to be healthy. We know a lot of the lung potentials that people go down as they age. And so we are looking at GHK topping the list for chronic pulmonary issues, restoring healthy function in lung cells, but also protecting our lung cells from damage, right? We need our lungs to be able to breathe and oxygenize air and live a vital, healthy life. Next, anti-fast growing cells. If you know what I'm talking about. They tell us all the time it's inevitable. We're all going to have fast growing cells one day. And I don't believe that to be true. I believe that we are biologically created to adapt, and we are abundant and healthy and well, and we can respond really well. Our body was created with so much power and potential. And so this is where GHK falls in that aspect. Thanks, Em. Em's always a good hype woman on these calls because she's just like, yeah. So I wanted to share which we're talking about in terms of anti-fast growing cells. And I encourage you, again, look these up. This is coming directly from GHK research. This is not coming from, just patching. This is come from directly from the source of what GHK benefits in all of the research that we're doing internationally, worldwide. So GHK tops the list for combating these fast growing cells, predominantly also in the colon. It actually resets the programmed cell death for aging cells. It inhibits all these different markers, which actually are promoting the fast growing cells. It repairs damaged cells. It gene regulates. It resets genes to inhibit the fast growing cells. I mean, this is just a quick summary. And when you get in the testimonials of the power of X39, it will blow your mind. I mean, the research will blow your mind, but when you actually meet real people who have real stories, which we're going to talk about, it will just crack your heart wide open to see how this transpires in human life. Next, brain and nerves. So this is my wheelhouse as a chiropractor. I love everything from brain regulation, nervous system regulation, neurocognitive ability, growth, neurofunction. And so we could see in all of the population, we all know what happens when they start scanning your brain, looking for these little white things on those scans and saying, well, you don't remember this because, or you are experiencing this symptom because, right? We always get these labels put on us. GHK resets human genes, which is important to proper neurofunction with upregulation and downregulation of neurons, basically meaning how well your brain is responding and not responding, and how well and how much capacity you have to function on a bandwidth of a scale. Then we have it introducing strong anti-stress and anti-anger. So now we're not just talking brain regulation, we're talking mood and mental health well-being. Induces anti-discomfort activity. So we're talking about regulation of these modulators in the brain, as well as it being used for damaged spinal cords. And so as an animal chiropractor and a human chiropractor, I have worked with a lot of injured individuals that have disc injuries, that have nervous system injuries, that have motor conflicts, that have sensory issues, as well as paralyzed animals. And when you see it, on this slide, you're like, wow, probably already thinking about 25 people that you would want to share this with. But when you actually see it firsthand, when you have someone who's paralyzed, or you have someone who has a chronic injury or an acute injury and is in debilitating pain, and you see the regeneration happen before your eyes, it's mind-blowing. So this is something that is near and dear to my heart in terms of brain and nerves, because we all know somebody who has been told, or self-fulfilling prophecy, should I say, of what's coming because of their human genetics and what they're told is in their genes, and that doesn't have to exist. Next, the last two is antioxidant power. We're all looking for that next quick biohack to have more a boosted immune system, to suppress our oxidative stress, to be able to have more antioxidants, to be open and more adaptable to things in the world and stressors and adaptable to sickness and illness, right? So this is all something that you can look up as well. But here's the most powerful one, the best for last. Activation of stem cells. So GHK causes adult stem cells to actually start producing again. So, fun fact, by the age of 35, you are about 50% of the stem cells left that you were born with to optimize for the rest of your life. And most people say you have your midlife crisis at 55, 60 years old. It's technically not your midlife to the span of what we live in terms of our current age. Midlife is actually, if you divide the average age of female and males, it's about 35 to 40. So you're at about that half lifespan when you have 50% left. And why do you think most people by the age of 28, 30, 35, start experiencing chronic health issues? It's because we're going down. We're not going to utilize and optimize something that we have minimal storages left and over almost a half a life left to live. And so when we utilize and optimize on GHK, we are able to produce more stem cells, reset stem cells to a healthier, younger state as well. So I think that's the most powerful point that we all should take from this, aside from the fact that it's non-transdermal, because I just love that to really knock that into people's heads, because it's like we don't have to put anything in our bodies, y'all. Our body is so powerful. So let's move on to one of these testimonials that I absolutely love to share about. This is Marcy. Marcy in 2019, you could see wasn't like the peak picture of health and vitality. She was experiencing health expression through a diagnosis of fast-growing cells in her chest area, and she was under conventional treatment. And so a friend of hers started patching and said, I don't know what these are going to do, but I think this might help you. And so that was the door wide open that Marcy needed to shift the entire trajectory of her life. So she changed her healing regimen, she changed her plan, she changed her intentions. It completely changed her entire world. And when she started patching, she noticed that she had this horrible metallic, nasty, just like detoxification taste in her mouth, and she was having detox symptoms. And she said, I'm onto something with this, and I want to stick with this because this feels like my body is healing and I want to move in this direction. And so she made the conscious choice to do that. And here she is in 2020, healthy, vital, well, transforming her health and well-being. Of course, you could see her hair is like phenomenal, phenomenal, right? It is vibrant. The color has come back. She has so much more thickness. Her skin is transformed. And here she is in 2023. And I will say, I've seen her in person several times. Just spent time in Europe with her on the LifeWave cruise back in August of this year. And she looks even younger. You would never know she has gone through this process. And then we have this gentleman who I always love telling his story because who here doesn't want better hair? Who here doesn't want better skin? Who here doesn't want their hair to never turn white? This man got it all. And I find too, I like to always say, we don't usually start patching for the reasons why we see a massive influx of changes. Most people start patching for pain. Most people start patching for injury. Most people start patching for some type of checklist, I call it. And so you see this gentleman who probably started patching for some health reasons, but in turn, he got a really quick regrowth and regression of his hair color returning and his hair growing back. And I just love to look at his skin. His skin looks so thin, so pale. And I know we're going to throw in the lighting concept, but it just looks more healthy. It looks thicker. It looks more vigorous. It looks like it has more tone to it. And so when you start patching, you may start patching for one reason, but you get the entire gamut of your body optimizing its overall potential and well-being in its order of prioritization. Also, wound healing. I mentioned it in the very beginning with skin and nails, but I like to not let this go, because we're not just talking about if you cut a finger off in wound healing. We're talking about my example. I had a massive keloid for over 15 years that I was just dead set that it was never going to go away. It just kept getting uglier and uglier. Thankfully, it's on the back of my shoulder from a surgery I had 15 years ago. But I started patching, and within several weeks, my husband said to me, "Look what's happening to your scar." And of course, I couldn't see it. Couldn't see it at all. It was flat within a matter of weeks. And so this is where I say you start patching for one reason and your body just starts turning up the heat of what it wants to do to optimize your vitality. And I will share on here, these lovely ladies that are on here have also had incredible changes that they didn't sign up for. That was not their intention for patching. We've had skin stuff change. We've had weird cysts go away. We've had all kinds of lumps and bumps and things in our skin that has just literally vanished. And, Em's adding in the comments, her boo was sold for the hair reason, right? There's always one reason. But also she said his hair within a month has more color and there's actually an increase of growth, which is huge. I've seen that as well with myself. So many people tell me my hair is darker. I haven't colored my hair for over 10 years. My hair is so much darker. And despite it being summertime, it was getting darker, which I always thought, like, usually my hair lightens up from the sun. Such a wild experience. And so when you really tap into that optimum potential, you don't know what you're going to get. All right. So let's keep talking about what makes it even more special, because we're not done yet, right? Like, but wait, there's more. Like Billy Mays. But wait, there's more. When we're talking about, of course, copper peptide, or we're talking about X39, we're talking about healing at the cellular repair level. So not just cells, we're talking about tissues, organs, organ systems, connective tissue. We're talking about pain relief, again, supporting wound healing, optimizing energy and vitality, circadian rhythms, faster recovery from exercise, reduced inflammation. We talked about the brain stuff, but of course, mental clarity, enhanced sport performance, and we've been hammering it out on skin appearance, but that is one that really takes the cake. So I want to take a side step here quickly, and I think we're good on questions so far, is talking about the world of athletes. In my opinion, everybody is an athlete because we all should be moving our bodies. And we all should be wanting to move our bodies in some way, even if we're just walking on the treadmill for 20 minutes in the morning before, like, reading a book, doing our morning routine, or we're full-blown competitive marathon runner. We are a triathlete. Doesn't matter where you're at or what age. It's super important that we keep our bodies active and moving. And we want to do that as long as possible, because that's what gives us even more health and vitality in our bank. And so LifeWave, when it started with the energy enhancer patch, which we talked about. And so David Schmidt took the energy enhancer patch to the Stanford University swim team. And the coach that was there then became an Olympic swim team coach in his entire trajectory of his career. And they did incredible studies on these swimmers and incredible studies on these athletes that showed, this like still blows my mind, that those who on the swim team were, before patching, had all of their record numbers, right? Their record scales, they were able to top-notch athletes, they were top-notch college athletes. When they started wearing the energy enhancer patches, they were outperforming their record numbers in practice. Like in practice. So they were practicing and pulling out record numbers and they weren't even competing at that level yet. And so sure, we're not all college Olympic athlete swimmers, nor do I ever want to be. However, if that can take an individual at a peak performance and make his peak performance or her peak performance practice numbers, what can it do for us, right? And so you will see these patches being worn because they're non-transdermal, because there's nothing going to the body, there's no drug test, there's nothing needing to be done, right? You will see them worn on professional athletes, college athletes. If you watch the Olympics in the Michael Phelps era, you saw Michael Phelps wearing them and you didn't even know it, but I'm telling you, you did, because he was wearing them, and you go back and watch all of the recordings. You know that NFL players wear them in retirement to help repair joints and tissues after their long careers. And so no matter where you're at in your athlete career, because we're all movers and we're all able to be optimized in terms of our potential for moving, is we could increase our performance. We could improve our recovery. We can improve our cardiovascular system. Isn't that the whole reason why we're starting to move in the first place? Is to maintain optimum health, cardiovascular health, lung function, right? And so, of course, stamina. And who doesn't love a great lean body mass? Who doesn't love optimizing function in terms of how we're moving and utilizing our body compositions? So how does this turn over in what actually happens? And this is one of my favorite things to talk about, because in the world, and especially the old health paradigm that we're moving out of, we want proof. We want to know what is happening in our body. How do I know it's working? How can I prove that this thing that I'm investing into my body is making a difference? And when we go to the gym, when we're working out, we are like, most of the time counting calories or counting how many calories we've burned or what we've eaten for the day. We're trying to give ourselves proof. So I'm going to give you the proof of what happens when you put this sticker on your body because it's been done. The research has been done. So within the first few days, even if you're not experiencing any miraculous thing, which miracle patchers do happen, I wish that for everybody. I wish we were all a miracle patcher, but sometimes our body needs more time because healing takes time and we're healing at a cellular level. So I want you to remember that cellular level at the root, we're shifting the trajectory of our entire physiology. So in the first few days that you may not even notice something or feel something yet, 3,000 to 4,000 genes are actually being reset within the first 24 hours. Multiply that times 4 weeks, you now have an entire new army that has been repaired to a younger, healthier state. And this is when you may or may not actually feel something. And most of us are accustomed to, if I feel yucky, I need to take something. If I feel great, I must be fine. But I want to shift that paradigm for you because if we aren't feeling it yet, that doesn't mean it's not working. What if it's working on something that doesn't give you the ability to feel, right? We have sensories and systems in our body that we are never going to feel. You're never going to feel what's happening in your liver unless there's a massive problem, right? Your liver has over 6,000 functions. It's literally an intricate part of every aspect of your body. I was taught back in grad school when I took all of my boards that when in doubt, if they ask for a function and the liver is a possible answer, put the liver because it's probably the answer because the liver does so many flippin' things. So when you're putting and thinking this into your new health paradigm, what if it's doing something that it's just not something you can feel? So if it takes 3 weeks before you feel something, it's been working for 3 weeks and now you're able to feel it because that repair has been completed. And so sticking with this and being consistent is key. Within 6 weeks, we get to the brain balance aspect, which I love. No longer are we overstimulated, stuck in fight or flight, having mental health capacity issues, not able to be friendly to our neighbors, our family, and our children. We are actually seeing brain mapping change. And we're seeing a regulation, downregulation, upregulation of the nervous system, leading to decreased symptoms in terms of decreased anxiety, decreased depression, an improvement in sleep, an improvement in memory, cognitive function, all of the lovely things of the brain. Next, though, we have collagen. So if you keep going 3 months in, like stick to something for 3 months, and you're probably going to notice a little bit of a change, right? We change our diet for 3 months. We start walking every morning for 3 months. We're going to see changes. But what if we just put a sticker on our body? Like, put an actual sticker of, like, I don't know, my kids have Moana stickers all over them today. Put a Moana sticker on, see what actually happens in 3 months. You actually have to put some effort into doing something. This is actually healing at the cellular level. Yes, I love Moana. Moana is like, ah, yes, one of my favorite movies ever. And the second one's coming out, which I'm so excited for. Thanksgiving weekend, just to let you know. Fun fact, y'all are welcome. So when you have this collagen increase in your body, your collagen is elevated, you're repairing not just tissues. I mean, collagen is an intricate part of so many aspects of cellular turnover, cellular regeneration, chemical reactions in the body. And then you get to 6 months. Yes, Sloan said my skin is really shifting and I'm 5 weeks in. Huge. Like, and that's only 5 weeks. Like, people who want to lose 100 pounds, they're not losing 100 pounds in 5 weeks. You are like seeing 5 weeks of skin changes. Like, how many people spend hundreds of dollars on skin things and they stick to it for years and they're still a devout person that follows and pays for those skin things? And yes, M said for me, it's the energy level, which I will say, M, is something that's very common that most people notice very quickly. It's just like, wow, I tapped into a solar panel. I plugged myself in to an optimization source and I'm able to actually feel something, feel energy moving through my body. I have potential moving through my body in which I didn't before because my mindset, my mental health paradigm just wasn't aligned with that. This shifts the trajectory of that. So we get to 6 months, and my favorite study that they've done after showing 6 weeks of patching, the cardiovascular system acted 8 weeks younger. So let's do the math. Let's boil that down to a ratio. That means for every day that you wear a patch, simply wearing a sticker on your body, nothing more, your cardiovascular system will act a day and a third younger. I mean, hello, we just talked about energy or exercising and burning energy and helping boost your cardiovascular system. Like, this is by putting a sticker on your body and you add movement to your body. I mean, you are taking great great strides in optimizing your health. And so I invite you to do this for a year. 1 year, right? In 1 year, everything can completely change. What have you done in your life that you've stuck to something for a year and you didn't see an outcome? So LifeWave's recommendation, if you don't want to follow mine, even though I challenge you to a year, is to patch every 1 month for every decade you are old. So if you're 30, patch for a minimum of 3 months. If you are 40, patch for a minimum of 4 months. And that minimum is to experience the feeling. You may feel something day 1, you may feel something day 2, week 5, but in order to actually impact the core, that cellular army, that's the minimum of months that LifeWave recommends. But I'm going to challenge you for the year. M challenges you for the year. The year. I know Sloan's challenged you for the year. Everybody challenges you for the year. It's been over 15 months for me patching, and I won't share with you during this presentation, but you can go on the YouTube channel for our team and watch all of the testimonials. It's incredible of what changes and what still glass ceiling you could break through when you continue staying consistent with something just by putting a sticker on your body. So I want to take a quick sidestep. This is everybody's favorite part. We now know how the technology works. We now know what's going on with it. I want to go over the actual patches in the suite. So we've talked about X39 a lot. That was really the forefront of today's conversation. X39 is the patch that everybody should be wearing every single day for at least a year or 20 years. Maybe I should start saying that. People are like, this lady is crazy. I will never stop wearing it. It's been well over a year for me. I still wear it and I still get incredible benefits from it. So when we're talking X39, I want you to think GHK copper peptide, stem cell activation, those fast growing cells. We're looking at collagen in tissues, that really deep cellular repair. That's a daily thing. Next, we have the sister patch, the sister peptide of GHK. That's X49. X49 is the sister peptide, AHK, which is just a sister to GHK. And when we think about X49, I want you to think about cardiovascular system, blood vessels. You could throw in the athletes. This is sometimes coined the athlete patch, but think lean body mass, endurance, stamina, the things we talked about with movement. This is really going to help optimize the vital functions of the cardiovascular system, the blood, and also bone density as well. So this is a really fantastic patch to pair together with X39, either daily or multiple times throughout the week to optimize those functions. Next, we have Eon. Eon is a very fast reacting patch as well. Eon is reducing inflammation and mood. So if you are someone who is experiencing massive amounts of inflammation from chronic inflammation, chronic autoimmune issues, mood, brain issues, right? This is something that will transform your life. Very fast acting. It's incredible. Next is carnosine. Carnosine, I love carnosine. I'm a huge fan of carnosine. It is brain, heart, and organs. Also blood sugar regulation. Also, it helps lengthen telomeres, which if you're a Blue Zone fanatic and you've watched the Netflix documentaries and read the books, those who are healthiest that live to be the longest have the longest telomeres on the end of their chromosomes. It's basically like the measurement that they measure people's health and vitality and longevity. So carnosine is an amino acid that you get from eating meat. We don't usually get enough nutrients. We don't usually eat enough of a nutrient-dense diet. So to be able to optimize this in your body, you can improve your skeletal muscle mass, you can reduce your blood sugar, you can help optimize your heart, your brain, other organ tissues, and you also, carnosine pulls aluminum from the brain. Like, read the research, go out there and Google that. It is known that carnosine is powerful for that, and that is huge when we're talking about brain, nervous system, neurological function. Carnosine is also fantastic for lumps, bumps, and bruises, neuropathy, anything on that brain and nervous system pathway. Carnosine is your go-to. Next, we have glutathione. Everybody's heard of glutathione. I'm just going to say it. I'm sure everybody has. You've probably researched taking it or buying it in a supplement. You've probably went and gotten an infusion of it, paid hundreds of dollars. It has a quick half-life. You're going to get a couple drops even though you're sitting there for an hour. It's going to be boosted. You may have done coffee enemas. I've been a part of that fan several years ago to boost your glutathione. Yeah, nobody likes doing those, but we do them. But what if we could put a sticker on our body? So the research shows that by putting the sticker on, for 12 hours, you get a 300% increase in glutathione for 24 hours. So glutathione is a master antioxidant booster. It's an immune booster. It's a detoxifier. It's really fantastic when you're healing and going through massive healing intensive periods of your life. All right, let's get we have lots of the comments going. Yes, we use this during health expression. Yes, especially, Sloan used it during the vid. I know that, the vid. Woo. It's very great for that. Let's see, wait, love this patch. It's next level. M said she will always wear the X49 forever. That's right. You one-upped me on my 20 years. You said forever. I see you, sister. All right, next we have Alavita. So there's a patch that's Alavita patch, which is also a powerful peptide. It's called the epithalamin peptide or epitalin peptide. This is really great for brain, for stress, for skin, for hair and nails. So pineal gland. This is fantastic for mental health, mental clarity, attention, and focus because it stimulates those parts of the brain, stimulates the frontal lobe. It's also fantastic for hair, skin, and nails. And so there's an Alavita patch and also there's an Alavita system. So the Alavita system, if you are a day cream, night cream, eye cream girly, or someone who just loves skincare, you wear the patch and you combine it with the regenerating trio, and you basically get the most best and beautiful non-toxic Botox skin relief that you could ever imagine. I don't put creams on my face. I just wear the Alavita patch. My skin is the best it's ever been. Being in my 30s, being in my third pregnancy in the third trimester of my 30s, my skin literally looks phenomenal, and I don't put anything on it except for I wear Alavita X39 daily. Like that is my regimen. Alavita I will also wear Alavita forever. It's fantastic. All right, last but not least, we have these last five. SP6, if you've watched my story or heard my story, SP6 is a great dear sister to me. SP6 is known, of course, for the food craving or the weight loss. I didn't use it for that. I used it for the hormone optimization and organ function. So it's a tonifier for the endocrine system. So it really helped resolve my kidney programs, my adrenal and thyroid dysfunction. It's fantastic for activating the hypothalamus, regulating liver, pancreas, intestines, any of the autonomic system stuff. So if you're a nervous system girly, if you love nervous system stuff and balance and parasympathetics, this is something that will help your autonomic nervous system. So the rest and digest, the organs that are run involuntary in the background, it's really fantastic for menopause, premenopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, fertility. It's fantastic for anything regulating of hormones, like anything. It is really incredible. I've had incredible results in my own personal testimony and that of my practice with SP6, and it'll stop a hot flash in its tracks. Not that I had that problem yet, but I've heard from several women, Emma testifies to that, several women in my practice as well have said that also. Next, silent nights. If you suffer from insomnia, if you are, constantly stressed, overstimulated, have thyroid dysfunction, have circadian rhythm dysfunction, suffer with mental health things, silent night is going to help activate melatonin production in the body, serotonin production in the body. It's fantastic to, of course, help with, we know melatonin has a tie to telomeres like we talked about with carnosine. It's also fantastic for benefiting and reducing oxidative stress. And I've seen incredible things in my practice with kiddos who've utilized it on the spectrum to help downregulate stimming, to help regulate their nervous system. I've have really tender and like heartfelt, will bring to your tears to your eyes testimonials of what has transformed and helped repair in the lives of several individuals. All right, let's see. Yes, M said hot flash is gone. Sloan said, it's amazing I eat half of what I did and my, whoops, and my liver is quiet now. Nervous system girly here. That's right. Yeah, same. It's like you don't have to have problems to optimize something either. You could just want better function for your entire system in your body. All right. The next is an energy enhancer, which is a very powerful patch. This is like the first patch ever that was ever created. It's very powerful. It ignites the mitochondria of every cell in the body. It'll turn fat into energy. It burns about 300 to 500 calories a day. So if you're working on that weight loss, you're in the gym, regulating hormones, it's a great one to add in there. It also has so many other uses. We talked about acupuncture. We talked about acupressure. We talked about the chi energy of Chinese medicine. It's a tonifier. It will help with lungs. It'll help dry up dampness in the lungs, clear out the congestion. It'll move and tonify the lung chi and the breathing functions. If you are a yoga person, you love optimizing, you're a breathwork person, energy enhancer, you're going to love it. You could also utilize it to enhance endurance as a runner to help your cardiovascular system. It reduces muscle soreness. It reduces muscle fatigue. It's great for nausea. It's great for reflux. There's so many things. It's also comparable to a red laser. So if you're a red laser person, you love red laser, you will love Energy Enhancer. There's so many things that you could use it for. Next two are IceWave and AccuLife. They're the same patch. One's for animals, one's for humans. Although I have utilized all these patches on my own personal animals, and I highly, I think any patch could be used for an animal if that's what you see fit. So I would suggest patching your animal for what you intend to patch your animal for, if that's something you're looking into. So this, again, is the same patch. IceWave is a patch that actually pain gates. So it actually breaks up the pain channel. So when talking about all the patches, every single patch, all 8 of them except for these two, are a 1-patch system. Energy Enhancer and IceWave are a 2-patch system. So you will wear 2 patches at one point in time, and you will wear them to boost the polarity and to break up the channels, or to enhance the energy, or to break up the pain gating channels. So IceWave, most people come into LifeWave for IceWave at 39. I'll just say that. It will stop pain in its tracks, chronic pain of years in its tracks. I've seen it stop chronic pain, chronic neck pain from a debilitating injury within 3 minutes in my office. And you wear it for 24 hours. So how incredible to wear a pain-free patch that doesn't have any stimulants. You're not using over-the-counter medication. You're simply pain again. You can wear it for 24 hours and then wear X39 and get the benefits of being pain-free and regenerating and rejuvenating and repairing tissue. So IceWave is one of my absolute favorites. So how do we wear them, right? That's the number one question that you're probably already asking. Well, apply it to clean, dry skin. Once you apply it to clean, dry skin, you could get it wet. It's not going to come off. It's very sticky. It's medical grade adhesive tape, or adhesive stickiness. You wear them for 12 hours. So all the patches except for IceWave, you would wear for 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So it's an on-off switch. You regenerate, rejuvenate for 12 hours, and then you take a break so your body can heal and utilize the energy it just brought in from that power source. After patching for your 12 hours, you can actually pass it on to somebody else. Each patch has 24-hour activation life. So you could get 12 hours and a pet or a partner can get 12 hours. It does become less sticky. You probably have to tape it on with something. And then after the 24 hours of activation, it is deactivated and you throw it away. You put a new patch on after your 12-hour rest break in the morning or whatever cycle you're wearing them, and you continue on. So I highly recommend, though, since we're working on the electrochemical gradient of the body, you need to drink a lot of water. Even if you try to debate that and not drink water, your body will ask you to drink a lot of water. So I wanted to just show you all the places that we are sending and patching people with a massive intention to patch a billion homes, and we are on a really great initiative to getting there. So if anybody's has any other questions, oh, great. Yes, I love that. Jen, okay, where would you place it on a pet or a dog? Yeah, so as an animal chiropractor, I recommend patching on the back of the neck. So imagine I'm a dog and have a collar on. You can put it directly on their fur. You don't have to shave them, or you could actually stick it to the inside of their collar. So it's going to be activated by the heat and light of their neck. I always try to keep it away from somewhere that they can't take it off, because then they could paw it off, and I would just wear it on the back of the neck. And then if you have a dog with other specific issues, we could talk more about that for more specific patching. But X39 on the back of the neck, carnosine on the back of the neck is what I typically utilize. And then IceWave is where you would patch if they have the pain patch. If they have some discomfort, you would patch that in the isolative spot. And I have a video on YouTube that I could share with you on that, but it's a 2-patch system and it's super easy to find that isolative spot and patch for pain. Are there any patches which do better on during the day or night? Yes. So I have people who experience different things. I've experienced different patch experiences while wearing different patches as well. So it's something that I highly recommend everybody starts to play around with and uniquely customized for themselves. Patches like Energy Enhancer, right? You're not going to wear that during the nighttime unless you're like working a third shift or you're trying to stay up late for something. IceWave's worn 24 hours a day. X39, I will sometimes shuffle X39 during the day or the evening time. Some people are very sensitive when they start wearing the patches, the X39 and X49. I recommend starting those ones in the day. Obviously, Silent Nights you would wear at night. I wear SP6 at night when I wear it. I just find I like it better there. A lot of people do. I also, most of the time, wear Alavita at night. So Alavita, Eon, X39, those can be worn at night because they also help facilitate sleep along with silent nights. Patches I wouldn't wear at night, glutathione, X49, like patches that are going to be very stimulatory. I have worn X49 at night, though. It doesn't bother me. I have had it to bother some people. The biggest thing that I've learned over the past year is that if you don't drink enough water during the day and you're going to patch at night, you're going to get up and want to drink water because it's going to be activating things. So if you're a nighttime drinker of water and you're able to get up and do that and fall back to sleep, then that would be a different issue. So I always say it's individual and it's unique to the person. Try them out, but when you first start patching, always start patching the ones during the day so you could track what's going on. And then you can play with them as you go. They're very adaptable. You get to learn how your body functions and functions more optimally when you wear them for a longer period of time. Great questions. Is X39 good for menopause or is that a combo? Yeah, cool, Jen. So I love these questions. So X39 is a patch everybody should be wearing. When we're patching for menopause, I would recommend X39 during the day, carnosine and eon during the day, and then also SP6 and or Alavita. And here's another question that I usually get is how many patches can I wear? You could wear as many as you want, as long as you wear each one 12 hours long and then you give them a 12-hour break. So there's days that I wear 6 or 7 patches. There's days that I wear just 2 patches. And there's different protocols that you could follow and recommendations and regimens that you could create for yourself. X39 is an everyday patch. Most of the support patches, so all the other ones, you're not going to wear every single day. You're going to wear them 3, 5 out of the 7 days a week, and you're going to, wax and wane them as well. So X39 daily, I would say Eon probably 5 out of the 7 days a week, Alavita 5 out of the 7 days a week, carnosine maybe 3 or 5 out of the 7 days a week, and then SP6 3 to 5 out of the 7 days a week. And you'll get a good cadence, and you will down regulate those as your body regenerates and rejuvenates, as long as you're staying consistent with X39. I have them all on hand. I have an entire box and arsenal of all of them, and I have them if I need them, and I just intuitively pull them on when I need them. And sometimes I wear them throughout the week, multiple times. Sometimes I, will not wear a glutathione, but I'll wear carnosine, and I shuffle them back and forth. Sloan said, have to drink and also pee a lot when starting. Yeah, because your body's flushing things out. That's a fantastic point. It's like your body's building cells every single day. You're turnovering cells every single day. So as you are turning over these cells, there has to be waste, right? There has to be like things that are coming out of your body, and that comes out through, urinating and bowel movements. And a lot of these things start moving in directions and in functions that they haven't functioned for in years. All right, Jen, let's see. Is there an age limitation? 14-year-old son with migraines. Oh, he will love them. He will absolutely love them. I always give the disclaimer, LifeWave does not do research on children, does not do research on pregnant women. My personal experience, I've been patching all throughout pregnancy, and I've had the best pregnancy out of all 3. And my other 2 pregnancies were not horrible. Like my other 2 pregnancies were like really great. This 3rd pregnancy is like over the moon, over the moon. Like I don't fall asleep in the middle of the day. I have full energy. I'm full go. I have 2 toddlers, and I just like am on fire. Even at 30 weeks. So it's huge. And I've been doing this for over a year now. So I cater that to, or I attribute that to as well. My kids use them. Annie said her kids use them. My kids are 3 and 5. I make the personal decision for my kids to use them. Anytime they're expressing health, I'm optimizing them with support patches. It transforms their life within 12 to 24 hours. Everything is just all hunky-dory and fantastic. With migraines, you could use IceWave to actually help with the pain of the migraine. Energy enhancer is also really fantastic for helping with migraines. Carnosine and then X39. So there's a lot of great choices, but starting with X39 with him daily, most of the time I find kids need less. So if you're doing less, the less is more for children because they have more health and vitality and abundance, and depending on their age. So most of the children that I find are teenagers, I should say, that start patching with X39. A lot of these things melt away and we don't need to like have an excess of support patches for them. Their body just responds and does what it needs to do to resolve those programs and resolve those conflicts. Yeah, you're so welcome. So everybody that was here today, I invite you to ask me any questions now or later. I'm going to drop my email here, so everybody can email me if you have questions, but I want you to get in contact with the person that brought you here. One, because I'm in direct contact with them. They could ask me any question to get you the answer. But two, they loved and genuinely cared about you enough and you and your family to get you here for this really important education so you can make vital shifts and optimizations in the health and well-being of yourself, your family, and those that are here. So I would love for you to get back with that person and ask them their testimony, ask them why they started patching. And my question to you is, why haven't you started patching yet? Because the best day to start patching was yesterday, but y'all weren't here yesterday, so you probably should start patching today. Because I'm so glad that I started patching, and I will share that I was so resistant. I'm just, I just question everything in life. I like ask questions on thousands of things. And so I questioned my husband why he was patching for 6 months, even though I got introduced to them directly by my neighbor. Like, I love and adore her. And so I questioned them for 6 months. And then my daughter actually was going through some skin stuff, and I had at my wit's end with that. I put a patch on her and it cleared everything up. And I was like, well, I guess I have to start looking at these things now. And then I started patching myself. And so if you are someone who looks at things like that, just do it. Put the patch on. Your life is going to change. You're going to notice immediately, I just feel different. And that's what I hear from everybody. Even if you don't have a miracle patch, when you put it on, you feel different, and you don't know what that different feeling is because you've never felt that optimum potential. And if you decide to take it off, you're like, wow, I really want that back. And that's essentially what I feel every single day, and why I will continue patching, because I know it's doing something in my body that my body wants and wants more of every single day. Cool. Y'all are awesome tonight. Thank you so much. I'm gonna close this out. I'll stop sharing. We got like a couple more minutes, so if anybody wants any more questions, drop them in. Anybody on here want to share their testimonial? I'm all here for this. I know we got some toe sisters on here that I call everybody the toe things that people have resolved and healed. Skin stuff. So if anybody wants to jump on, you can open your mic and share your testimony.
I'm gonna share.
Go for it.
So, as some people know or may not know, so I did a huge move yesterday, and I had the patches on. I'm trying to think. I had them on the night before, and yesterday, like it was really, really rough. And when I came home, well, when I came to where I am staying last night, I felt like I was hit by a truck. So I literally put all the patches on and put myself in bed, hydrated a lot. And I have to say, my fingers were all cut up, like raw. They're healing. Like I've never seen, like I've never healed like this. Like, I have like eczema issue, but literally I've been looking at it all day and I was like, oh my God, like I Reiki them, but I never like healed this quickly. And yeah, and like my body feels almost back to normal, which is really crazy. And I have the X39, but I also do the SP6, and I've lost 2 pounds with that. I eat like half of what I used to eat. I actually feel full now, and I'm not craving the sugar. Um, and then I am using the aloe vera for skin. So I'm watching like a lot of my I have a scar that's almost gone, and I had a toe thing that literally disintegrated. um, and then I started the carnosine today. And then I also use the glutamine for the COVID, and I'm using Aeon. And I have to say, I don't have the tightness in my body and the inflammation. Like I have my thumb that had arthritis starting in it. It's actually dissolving the nodule, and I have no pain in the thick of the thumb anymore. So, and I'm only 5 weeks into batching.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane how quick it just starts to turn over. Do you want to share a little bit of your story?
Yeah, I would love to. Um, for me, I will say like the patches were in my ether and it didn't land until it landed. And all of a sudden, like when it was introduced to me, it was introduced at it was an energetic, like So I'm a generator, if you know human design. So it's a very sacral response for me. And my whole body like went like in a relaxed, like it was so relaxed. Um, and I had been looking for, like, I do a lot of things. I love frequency medicine. I'm very sovereign in what I'm up to. But there were some things going on in my life, which really I could say, like, I didn't feel like it was my body anymore. And I felt like I was too young to be in that feeling. And it was like there was a lot going on with it. And when it was introduced to me the way it was introduced to me, it landed in my body with a calmness. And I also introduced it in my partnership in a different way than I had, which felt like it, I was lining it up in a really beautiful way. Like, hey, I've been in this, and so all of it just aligned in a way of a beautiful opportunity on the levels of wellness and also business, which I haven't always done. I've been clunkier with, you know. And I know if you guys are into gene keys, from my gene key profile, it's like how you enter something is a huge impact with the fulfillment of it. Um, I will say I was experiencing hot flashes. They were gone. It's not that I haven't had one, like they went away and then that I'll be like, "Oh my God, is that a hot flash?" And I'm like, "No, no, it's not." Like I feel a flush, but it's not a hot flash at all. And it was pretty immediate with that, like pretty immediate. I will say also, I was a significant runner, like 3 to 6 miles a day, like every single day, had an injury that was fixed, haven't returned to running, love being active, like as a whatever it is, like I am active. And I can't say that my body is like if I got on the scale, it wouldn't be like you're back to your running weight. But I feel it. Like I literally, like I said to Alan the other day, I was like I'm dancing again. Like I used to, like when I would run, I would dance, I would spin, I would twirl. Like I was known on the trail in the city I live in Austin. Like people would stop me and be like, "You're the woman who like twirls every day." And I'm like, "Yes, I do, because why not?" I'm listening to Queen Herbie, like, why wouldn't you be? And she was like dormant. I mean, she could be in her body, but she wasn't activated in her body. And like I throughout the day, I'm like dancing through the house again. I'm like, it's not, again, I'm not a big scale person. So I don't know what would happen. And even in the mirror, I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't look like I'm that person yet, but I feel like that person. Like I feel like that person. And I've always been the grandma. Annie can totally understand this. It's like if it's 8 or 9 p.m., I'm done, which is fine. I mean, that's boundaries. And it would be like asleep, like literally, like Alan would be like, "You're passed out in the bathtub." I'm like, "Oh, whatever. I'm not going to Whitney Houston, like I'm fine. I don't feel it that high." And I can like we watch movies, which isn't always my jam. And also sometimes it's fine to like be there and I can stay awake. Like I'm awake past 9 p.m. and not just awake, but like it's a weird thing where I'm like, oh, my eyes can stay. Like I'm actually there. So regardless of what, like there's an energy within me that, and I will say like I've gone up and down with hormone, whatever we want to call it, for decades. Decades. And I honestly think that there's people in my life that are like, I'm not really sure what to do with you. And I'm fine with that.
On fire. Emma's on fire. That's like a total shift in terms, like literally like, a massive shift.
Annie's like, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you for
totally.
sharing.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm on a plane. I have no idea when I'm going to take off, but I'm just going to go ahead and also pop in because I've been listening and like, I just can't tell you guys enough how much I freaking love these patches. But I've had some really amazing, like, and pretty much right out of the gate, I had a couple of like miracles. And I think sometimes it's like you have that moment and you're like, oh my God, like what else is this doing? Like, that's a thing I can see, and I'll tell you guys like that, but like that's a thing I could see, but like what is it doing? I love it, Kayla, when you talk about how we don't know all the things that it's doing. It's actually one of the most powerful things. And when I put the patch on my back, on my neck every day, the X39, I literally put it on with an intention and I say, heal everything I don't know that I need. And I literally say that mantra and I just am like, ooh, yeah, like this is so fun. Like it's doing things that I don't even know what it's doing. Like, and that's part of like, I don't know, when I heard you say that, I was like, oh my God, yeah, like that preventative piece of like all the things that we don't know that it's doing. It's like one of my favorite things about the patches. But I will say that I had, and you can't see it, so nobody even believes me. I wish I would have frickin' taken pictures, but I didn't because I didn't know what the friggin' patches could do. But literally like a week in, I was cooking and I burned my hand. It was the palm of my hand right here. I had 3 massive bubbles there. And I immediately, like, you would put your hand under water, but like they were blistering up. And so I'm like, okay, that just didn't appeal to me. And I had the patches and I just intuited, like, immediately, I just grabbed an X39 and I put it right next to it, like right here. Then I grabbed the Ice Wave. And here's what's funny. I didn't freaking know that the Ice Wave had 2 goddamn patches that were polarities. Like I didn't know that. I didn't look. You guys, you know how much shit I do in a day. So like whatever, I didn't know. I just grabbed one. I don't even know which one. I think it was the brown one because it was the brown one because I remember going, oh, that's weird. Like it's a different color, but whatever. I just put it on. So I had those 2 patches right there. Oh yeah, totally. He wants me to put my free table up, whatever. Anyway, so I, anyway, I have them on 24 hours later, and I swear to Goddess, on my children's lives, it looked like this the next day. It was gone, like it never happened. And I'm like, I don't understand this. I did burn myself yesterday. I mean, I was literally going like, what the, like, and actually what was also wild, Lotus, do you remember when I burned myself with the thing and I put the patches on? Yeah. And then I took it off. And then you're like, and okay, so I took it off and I said, oh, it's hurting again. And so she was like, put it back on. So I did. And but that was wild because to be honest, that was crazy. That was a little experiment because I took it off and I could feel the pain come back almost instantaneously because it was like pulsating, right? And then I put the patch back on and it was gone instantaneously as well. So anyway, this is what my hand looked like the next day. He's totally going to kick me off my phone in 10 seconds. But I just have to tell that story because I told that story to someone else. She's like, do you have pictures? I'm like, no, babe, I didn't stop to take pictures of my bubbling burned hand. I didn't also know that like it would do that. Like I literally just put them on to see. You know what I mean? Like I was just in pain. Anyway, hopefully I
It
won't be
happened to
burned
me
again.
too. I had a burn thing and I
Yeah,
intuitively put the X39
yeah,
and it was like, at first I was like, oh, there's pain. And I had a bubble the next day, but there was no pain. And the next day it was
yeah,
completely like,
yeah, gone. You know, the
I
exact
just
same
put the
thing.
X39 like right under. I was
Yeah,
burning stuff in the back,
yeah. Babe, say
hollows,
no more.
like a
Say no more.
thing. And I was like,
Say no more.
oh no.
Say no more.
X39.
Oh, for sure. But look, I went like literally a week later, I went to Utah to run an event there. And my friend, I was showing her, we were talking about the patches, of course, and she was cooking in the kitchen. Same thing. She slipped the knife, cut her pinky right here. And I'm like, babe, you got to do what I just did with the patches. Because she cut it super deep. And she's like, just give me super glue. And I'm like, what the? Okay, whatever with the super glue, but like, fine, we'll do that too. we super glue her shut, but we put the X39 and again the Ice Wave, and same exact thing. It was gone the next day. It was so freaking wild. And the scarring thing is really crazy. It like, if you have any scars, like if you start doing the X39, I am now 1000% convinced it takes away any scar that you have. I mean, not that people need to take away their scars if they don't want to, but like that's a thing, you know? And scars hurt. Like, not all of them, but a lot of them hurt, you know? So yeah. Anyway, that was crazy. And then I'm also patching right now the carnosine, and I'm using that one for my ganglion cyst that's on my wrist. And I've been doing that for a couple weeks. Okay, fine. I gotta go. Anyway, so I'm on my way to LA. It's only like a 2-hour flight, and then I head to Bali, you guys.
Hey, thank you for sharing.
Yes, Kayla. Hey, I sent you some DMs. Check those out, please.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna be on this flight. Just keep an eye on those conversations. Yeah.
Yes, sounds good.
Okay.
Have a safe
Bye, you
flight. Thank you for
guys.
sharing.
Love you. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you all, ladies, for sharing your testimonials. I'm so glad that we had a couple extra moments to share them. If anybody has any questions moving forward, like I said, please get with the person that invited you here. Feel free to email me. And get patching tomorrow. Literally, I don't know why we all haven't started right now. We should all just jump off this call and get our patches so we can all get started in patching. But if it could be any way of any help for anybody, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I will post this recording if anybody wants it to rewatch, to send to somebody. And I hope all of you ladies have a beautiful night. See y'all later.